Chloe, go open up the machine. Ah! Oh, no!
No! Do not pull out Junior. Bye-bye.
I'm not really wanting to.
Hey!
Oh, no. Oh, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Okay, bye.
Aloha.
Top of the morning, friends and family. Today I've got my tiny team. We're going to do an update on some snakes around here, maybe some other animals besides snakes. We've got a bunch of cameras pointed at us. We're going to have a good time with
so
it.
much cameras.
I was thinking about, you got something on your face. I was thinking about talking about vulnerability and how that works in with snakes and people. Like snakes need to be vulnerable, right? Snakes do not need to be vulnerable, and they don't even choose to be vulnerable. We as people have a choice to be vulnerable or not every day, every moment. Our snakes do not. Our snakes are vulnerable, and we put them in vulnerable spots. Where let's just get a snake out and show an example of that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that snake is big.
So no matter which snake we pulled out, it's not this snake didn't choose to be pulled out of a tub. The snake will not choose to be vulnerable. However, what I like to do is get them used to being vulnerable, get them being okay with being vulnerable. This snake, probably not the best example because it's probably one of the less handled snakes here at Triple B, but this is Freedom. I did get her from Jesse at Freedom Breeder however many years back for Christmas. And what I like to do with any snake to get it used to being vulnerable is kind of pet them in a vulnerable spot. Again, she's probably not a good example because we haven't really trained this with her much at all. But
we haven't trained her?
No, not too much. But that little chin pet, just under the chin, this is a very vulnerable spot for a snake. And so what I do like to do with a lot of the babies, especially the snakes that we handle often and take to educational shows with students, is pet them underneath their chin like this because it's a very vulnerable spot for them. And that gets them used to being put in a vulnerable position, but not being hurt physically or emotionally. And when we get the snake used to that, then it's able to go throughout its life, which ends up being educational shows or just being around people, and gets them more strong in a vulnerable situation. And
when did we get her?
It was Christmas, probably back like 2018, I think it was.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe 2019. It was like about 5 years ago.
And from today, it's almost Christmas.
It is getting close to Christmas. We're getting real close to Christmas.
I already saw one of my Christmas presents and I got to open it.
What?
It's the Gabby Dollhouse one.
Cheating.
But I saw it in the car when we were coming back from Mom's work.
Oh, okay. Well, so how that ties into vulnerability with humans, with us, is we get to choose, for the most part, how vulnerable a situation we get to be put into, or even choosing to be vulnerable in a moment, which in our culture, I think, is very counterintuitive. I think in most cultures, it's counterintuitive to put yourself into a vulnerable position or make yourself vulnerable in a situation where you don't have to be.
This snake is really fat.
The snake is really fat?
Yeah.
And maybe some of us don't want to put ourselves in positions like that because, we're afraid of being called fat or something of the like, some kind of thing that people will think about us.
You
that
just scared her. And
she's
now
fine. She's fine.
Me.
No, don't be scared. Come on, get back over here. Get back to your mic. You're blocking your face with the mic.
Huh?
Your face is blocking the microphone. What was that? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Why did it sound like it was ringing down here? So anyway, yeah, talking about like maybe you put yourself in a vulnerable situation and you're opening yourself up to the potential for people to call you names or see a side of you that you don't want them to see. And that's, I think, why we create those protections around ourselves. A good example I think of is like just dudes in a locker room or something. Everybody's acting all tough and like not wanting to show any. I think that happens a lot with guys versus girls. I think girls are much better at being vulnerable naturally. Though even with girls, I'd imagine there's plenty of spots where there's this, I don't know, if I think about high school girls and how they seem to operate, like, I think that maybe that's why high school girls are more, it's a little more devastating to be a high school girl in a social sense, because maybe what they do is they're more vulnerable with each other in circles, and then all those girls have ammunition to use against each other because of those vulnerable spaces.
And to hold a snake, you gotta like put one hand in front of the other if it's like slithering in your hand. Oh, who's that?
It's Lucky. You kidding? Come on. Why are you backing away from your snake over? Come on now. as we're talking through this stuff, I'd love for comments in the comment section from you guys. I'd love comments in the comment section from you about maybe a vulnerable situation you found yourself in, or a vulnerable situation you put yourself into, or a situation where you didn't need to be vulnerable but you chose to be, and how that either worked in your favor or worked against you, or both.
Tell the story of what happened to Lucky and how he
Yeah,
got
you
hurt.
hold Lucky. You show me that great hand over hand technique that you were talking about when handling a snake that's trying to slither away from you. Looks like she just chilled out as soon as you hold her, but I want to see you do that technique that you were just telling everybody about. Where
Okay.
you do the hand
So
over
you
hand.
put one hand in front of the other when they're like slithering, and to really support their body. Because if you don't support their body, they might fall out of your hand and get hurt.
So Lucky was a rescue. She was slated for, well, she was part of an eating experiment, a feeding experiment at Cal Poly with the herpetoculture program over there. And she wasn't participating willingly in the experiment, so she wasn't eating. This is why she's pretty small. She's kind of dwarfed from not eating. And since she wasn't eating, she was basically of no use to the experiment they're doing, or the study. And Haley, my friend, who was the grad student at the time over there, who also Haley Crowell, who does amazing work now in the field, she brought her to our local slow reptile show. Said this snake is either going to go to brain dissection or she's going to be your pet, because since she wasn't taking part in the eating program, then they were going to do brain dissection and make her useful for science in some way. But instead, she came home with us and therefore got the name Lucky. And
Yep.
that's the story of Lucky, the children's python.
And that's also because she's really lucky
Lucky,
that
yeah.
we saved her.
Yeah, lucky situation.
Lucky, stop holding on to the table.
Why do you think she's holding on to the table?
So she doesn't fall.
Right. So she's feeling a little vulnerable. She's not wanting to let go of that tail spot because that'll make her extra vulnerable to falling. So there's times when it's good to
Lucky now. She's
not-
hard to get off the table.
Here, you want some help?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so she's using
And
her
she
tail.
has a very small mouth. Yeah.
Why are you being afraid?
I don't
Stop being a weirdo. Here, pick the snake up. She's super chill. She's never bit anybody.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
And she's also super tiny. So if she did bite you, it probably wouldn't even break your skin.
Oh my god.
And if it did, it'd be the smallest little bite ever.
Even smaller than a baby snake bite?
I mean, she's a small snake, so her head is smaller than any baby ball python I've ever seen, basically. Yes. Much smaller.
And she's very big at the moment.
Well, she's longer, yeah.
Yeah, but not bigger. Where are you trying to go?
She's going places. Remember what's your hand over hand technique?
Right now I'm just holding her like this. She's
So
trying
I suppose that what we can talk about there is there's times when it's good to maybe not be vulnerable and put yourself in a situation where you could fall, hit the ground, and die. You know, takes some thinking,
Lucky.
takes some discernment to know the situation of how vulnerable maybe you should be for self-preservation reasons versus being vulnerable in a time when you might be risking only your ego.
I'm gonna let her wrap around to your hand so she feels more comfortable. Lucky. What is Lucky doing? She likes you.
Let's get a good shot of her face here. What's up, Lucky? How's your face doing? Oh, it's a good face shot. Oh, Lucky's face. Oh, lucky face. Lucky face. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
Are you talking to the snake?
Yes.
What is the snake thinking?
She's thinking of biting.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Okay, bite.
Dad, you scared the butterflies out of me.
Which snake should be shown next?
We're not showing.
We're not snowing?
We're not showing a snake next. We're showing a frog next.
A frog?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to see the froggy. Here she comes. So we actually thought that she was a boy, but then we figured out that she was a girl. And she is pretty fat.
See, what do we talk about calling people fat? And she came out here to be vulnerable, and you're calling her fat.
Each time I touch her, she jumps. Her skin is really dry.
She's also super puffed up right now. It's not that her skin is dry; it's that her hand is dry.
She jump scares me each time she jumps.
She's full of air right now. She's all puffed up because she's feeling very vulnerable.
Wait, that's all air?
I mean, there's a lot of air right now. Yeah, she's definitely swelled up with air to make herself look bigger, to kind of make us feel like maybe she's too big for us to eat or too big for a lot of things. You know,
Bruh,
she's just
we're not gonna eat ya.
She doesn't know that though. She doesn't know that we're not going to
She
eat her.
just splashed water on my face. How dare you?
She's all puffed up to make herself look bigger, which is something that we do as people. I think we puff ourselves up to look not vulnerable so that we can stay safe within our egos, which I get. Hey T, I'm gonna ask you a. I'm just gonna roll around to get a little wet. I know. I just wanted it to be more
She
wet.
just peed.
Yeah, that'll happen. So it's also probably water she's got filled up in there. What is something you do to... Never mind. I don't remember what I was going to say.
She's peed.
Jerry, the African bullfrog. She's a big fatty McFatstacks.
So jiggly.
I think you have... Do you have any vulnerable moments with your friends? Do you have any friends that you open up to and share secrets with?
Yes.
Yeah?
My best friends.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever worry about them knowing some of the things about you that... Just curious.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You do worry about them knowing some things?
Yes.
What things do you worry about them knowing?
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
She deflated just a little bit.
But yeah, I just saw her deflate a little bit.
You're not going to answer my question?
No. I will only answer the mighty frog.
Fair enough. I won't force you to answer that question on camera for the internet. Oh, she's peeing! She's peeing out her butt. She's letting go some of that water. She's doing a little pee out. That's our little cloaca open up. And she... Ah! Oh, no! Frog juice off my lens here. I think she... I shouldn't be doing that with a paper towel. You want to pull out another animal? What are you thinking, T?
What?
Remember microphone.
What animal? Definitely not Junior.
I was thinking about pulling out Junior.
No!
No?
Do not pull out Junior. Bye-bye.
Dang it. Of course, one of our most beautiful snakes, especially when just concerning iridescence, and he is deep, deep in shed. Junior, of course, here, a snake that has been through lots of trauma in his life with all of the trips to the vet and the eye thing, and which he still deals with a little bit, but he doesn't bother him too much. He is so deep in shed right now, it's not even... Whoa! He's also a male reticulated python that's kind of wanting to breed right now, so I'm going to put him back away. But there's Junior. He's still here. He's big, and he's he's not feeling it. So...
I don't often hold chickens.
Yeah, not anymore. Huh? Well, what's next, T?
I don't quite know yet.
So back to our topic of vulnerability, I would encourage any of you, if you put yourself in a moment and be vulnerable.
I know which one.
What?
Dio.
Dio? Okay.
Yes.
You'd be amazed at the things that can come of it. moments when there's been people at shows, for example, like this weekend right now, as you're watching this video, maybe you're at the Kansas City show. Maybe you're somebody who has watched lots of these videos and you didn't want to put yourself in a vulnerable moment to come up and say hi to me, even though you've been thinking about it for years. That happened at last Tinley show. There was a guy that had been watching the videos for years, had seen me at multiple shows, but never came up because that vulnerable, but didn't want to be vulnerable in, and just it's making yourself vulnerable opens you up to potential experiences that can be life-changing. Not that meeting me is a life-changing experience, but no space on the memory card. That's not good. How long has that been happening?
Dio is a gecko.
Dio, crested gecko, not nearly as chill as the original Dio that we got from my buddy Riley over at Riley's Reptiles. Link in the description for his channel. Go check him out.
Dio died.
Yeah, sadly
So that's why I named this Dio after him.
Yes, correct.
Dio Jr.
Yep. Again, not nearly as chill as the original Dio. Much more prone to jumping around and freaking out, absolutely freaking out. In fact, I put this Dio on the table one time and it wasn't even going at him. He just threw his tail off and flailed all over the place, a little stress case. Gotten a lot better being put in vulnerable situations. Still goes and hangs out with kids. One time latched onto my finger with his little catfish-like teeth. So it didn't really...
Hey, come back here.
Didn't really hurt that bad, but it wasn't, Dio's just a little bit of... This Dio is a little bit of a stress case. But still does hang out with kids and does okay. Does okay with the kids. Definitely can count on him to jump because he probably wants to escape any type of kid situation. But he does okay. He's all...
Stop it.
No, he's fine. He just doesn't really... He's feeling a little extra vulnerable and not really wanting to...
Hey!
Oh, no!
No. We almost just...
We do not need a crested gecko lost in the snake room, that's for sure.
Or else you will bite my toe off.
They're so cute, though.
I know, they're so cute.
They're adorable little animals. Little
The other Dio was definitely calmer.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, T, how are we feeling?
Feeling on what?
I don't know. Do we want to go further with this video, or how are you feeling about that?
I want to set up my princess tent.
You want to set up your princess tent?
Yeah.
Okay. Not one more animal?
No.
No? Okay. Straight to the princess tent. That's fine. I can respect that. Well, listen, again, hopefully just from a word from us, encourage you to put yourself in a vulnerable moment and see the awesome things that could potentially happen. Open up to somebody, share something that you feel you need to protect, and see what happens. Be safe, be smart about it, but just encourage you, if there's something you've been wanting to share with somebody in particular, share it and see what happens. I'd love to hear comments later on this video.
I want to say one more thing. Once, that snake right over there almost took me in its cage. It wrapped around me and then started pulling me in its cage. And I couldn't even move a bit.
Yeah, she was just holding on. She wasn't trying to eat you. She was just holding on to you like a tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Well, I love how we're on totally different pages on this video, but it was still a lot of fun. Lamb Moon, thank you for hanging out with me and doing the video. I love you, little Moon.
Alright, now let's put Tia away before she jumps all the way to the moon.
Okay. You guys take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you on the next video. Aloha.
Bye-bye. Ooh. Wait, I want to see my sound pitch. Wait, my sound pitch. Sticky, 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 stick, stick. Ah.